Are you struggling to set up AWS Cognito as your Django authentication backend? You're not alone. Many developers find this process confusing. But don't worry, today we're going to break it down step by step. I totally get it. It can be really frustrating when you want to use a powerful tool like Cognito, but you can't find clear examples or guidance. You're not the only one feeling this way. Let's dive into the specific question at hand. One user asked how to create a basic Hello World Django app with a login screen that uses AWS Cognito for authentication. They want to know how to gather the necessary information from the Cognito admin site to set up user authentication. So what do we need to understand about this setup? AWS Cognito can indeed replace a local Django admin database for user authentication. However, it requires some specific configurations and knowledge about the Cognito API. Stay with me until the end, because I have a fantastic tip that will make your authentication process much smoother. To begin, the user needs to create an AWS Cognito user pool. This is where user data will be stored and managed. First, log in to the AWS Management Console and navigate to the Cognito service. Next, the user should configure the user pool settings. They will need to set up attributes like email and password requirements. After configuring, the user can create the pool and note down the pool ID and app client ID. Now, the user needs to integrate the Cognito user pool with their Django application. This involves installing the necessary libraries. The user can use pip to install the Boto 3 and Django Cognito JWT packages. After installing the libraries, the user should configure Django settings to use Cognito for authentication. This includes adding the Cognito settings to the Django settings file and updating the authentication backend. Finally, the user can implement the login functionality in their Django views. They will need to create a view that handles user authentication by calling the Cognito API with the user's credentials. Fun fact, AWS Cognito was designed to handle millions of users, so you can scale your application without worrying about authentication bottlenecks. Now let's look at the answers provided by other users. An alternative solution provided by a user involves a crucial adjustment when using Django Warrant with Django 2.0. They suggest modifying the conditional in backend.py to ensure compatibility. Specifically, change the condition to check both the major and minor version numbers of Django. Additionally, the user shares their experience deploying the app using Zappa and AWS Lambda. They encountered a file not found error related to the PyCryptodome package due to differences between Windows and Linux environments. The solution was to download the Linux version of PyCryptodome and merge its crypto package with the Windows version. In summary, if you're using Django Warrant with AWS Lambda on a Windows machine, ensure you merge the appropriate packages to avoid runtime issues. Here's the tip I promised. Always keep your Cognito user view pool settings updated. And review your app's security regularly. This will help you maintain a secure authentication process. And there you have it. You now know how to set up AWS Cognito as your Django authentication backend. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe for more tips and tricks.